Well, moving on, US firm Intellimedia is betting big on East Africa as a key growth hub as the billion-dollar company expanded operations into Kenya. CNBC Africa spoke to the firm's chairman, Alex Chesosi, for more insights into this investment.
Intellimedia Networks Africa is a company headquartered in America with offices in California and Virginia. We have a tech presence in India, where we employ about 300 tech staff. Now we have an African presence led by our very able and capable CEO, who is a lady, Jane Nawezi Kitala. And maybe if I tell you how Intellimedia came into Nairobi, last year during the US Africa Summit, our president had just ascended into office, and together with the delegation, which included our Prime Cabinet Secretary, Honorable Musalia Mudavadi, went to Washington, and amongst the many sittings, urged American investors to come and invest in Kenya. One of those companies that was in attendance of Intellimedia Global, we call it Intellimedia Networks, and they took the cue, and true to form, they visited Nairobi 4 months ago. We already set up in Nairobi with offices in Karen, and with our collaborative approach, we have even since signed a memorandum of understanding with government institutions like Konza Technopolis Development Authority. So I really have to laud our president for enabling easy entry of companies into our country, which is going to spur development, create jobs, uplift the standards of living of Kenyans. And of course, the net effect of that is longevity, a long life. Back to Intellimedia Networks Africa, we pride ourselves as a company that provides affordable, scalable, dependable, and very secure products, especially in EdTech, that is education technology. We provide training platforms. We have done this in India, in Ethiopia, of course, in America, big market. Besides the technology, we do media content distribution. That's our bread and butter. That's what we've been doing for the past 15 years. We also manage events. That's events broadcasting. And very importantly, and most recent, we have a connectivity solution.
Looking at the big picture, how is this connectivity equation going to play out, especially considering that there is still a big gap in terms of connectivity in Africa? And how does this align with the goal to digitize Africa?
Maybe let me start by saying that Africa is at the cusp of tech revolution. But to achieve that tech revolution, you need reliable, stable, and cheap connectivity. That's where Intellimedia enters the room, because as it stands today, achieving connectivity is a difficult, it's an arduous task. Maybe you know, Avi, that to get connectivity, you need cellular towers. And to construct a cellular tower, you need to get land, buy land, get wayleaves, import steel, transport steel to location, engage in civil works, put radios. You can imagine all those components just to get a network. Alternatively, you can do fiber, which then involves a lot of digging to achieve connectivity. But with our solution, with just a box and the technology that is built inside that box, you can be able to achieve connectivity in a very fast manner. So by virtue of the investment in setting up what is today the cellular towers, telcos then don't find it economical to go and and set up these in rural locations, because there is no economic value, there is sparse population. And that's where we come to fill the void.
Talk to me about the size of investment that you are seeing in terms of opportunities for investors within Kenya and the greater Africa at large. Why should investors take a keen interest in this?
Once we have cheap, reliable, and secure connectivity, all the other pieces will fall into play. And the reason why they should come and invest, or other stakeholders join hands with us, is that number one, this solution, this connectivity solution, is very reliable. It is scalable. We can set it up in a rural school all the way to a big university. So very scalable, dependable, very secure, as I mentioned. And most importantly, it is going to transform our continent. Access to education, access to Medicare, entertainment joints. You can imagine a mining operation somewhere in Lubumbashi. They'll need connectivity. Telcos will not move their equipment to Lubumbashi so that they can just light up a mining operation. But with our solution, we can go and light up mining centers, parks, Masai Mara Game Reserve. No telcos will move there with the equipment to set up connectivity. In that case, we will fill in the void. So I invite investors, stakeholders to join us in this journey of empowering Africa as the only remaining frontier.
And it would be unfair for me to end this conversation without getting a sense of scalability. And give me a picture of the financial muscle of the company, and why are you really optimistic about Kenya and East Africa?
Number one, I'm optimistic about Kenya, and this is why we started the operation here, because if we closely diagnose our government's agenda, they put technology at the forefront. The president has over and again mentioned to us that he wants to bridge the digital divide, basically closing in the technological gap and removing what they call in tech the tech curse, that people in the past viewed technology as a reserve of the affluent. But now our government, which is actually turning out to be a Pan-African agenda, want to democratize connectivity. So that is one. Secondly, about our muscle, I already mentioned to you that our parent company is valued at over $1 billion. It has a lot of partners, financial instruments. So that will not be a challenge. And after all, we have a collaborative strategy where we'll team up with financial institutions, manufacturers of hardware to make this a success.